Lauren Torres stood transfixed before a canvas that cost less than her Louboutin heels when she felt someone watching her. It wasn't the first time this had happened at an art gallery. After all, an elegant woman in a crimson dress always drew attention. But this time felt different. The gaze burned into her back, as if it could decipher every secret she kept beneath that flawless facade. The Colors of Everyday Life exhibition at the Smithsonian's Hirshhorn Museum should have been just another stop on her social calendar. As a renowned nutritionist in Washington, D.C., Lauren knew that appearing at cultural events was part of her professional networking. But there she was, mesmerized by a simple painting of a girl playing with ponies in an orchard, while feeling that her entire life was about to change. "Do you see the nostalgia in this piece too?" The masculine voice sounded deep and too close to her ear. Lauren turned slowly, prepared to dismiss another admirer with her usual polite coldness. But the man before her wasn't like the others. Tall, with chestnut hair touched by silver at the temples, he wore a navy blazer that cost a fortune, but which he wore with the naturalness of someone who didn't need to impress anyone. His honey-colored eyes seemed to know stories she could never imagine. "Nostalgia?" Lauren arched a perfectly shaped eyebrow. "I see interesting technique, but nothing that justifies the price." He smiled. Not the rehearsed smile she was used to receiving, but something genuine that made her stomach do a strange flip. "Justin Wagner," he extended his hand, "and you're completely wrong about the price." "Lauren Torres," she shook his hand, noticing it was firm and calloused. "These weren't the hands of an ordinary executive, and am rarely wrong about values." "Ah, but you're only evaluating the painting," Justin pointed to the canvas. "You're not seeing the story behind it." Before Lauren could respond, a blonde woman approached them with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Justin, darling, I didn't expect to find you here." The atmosphere changed instantly. Lauren noticed the tension in Justin's shoulders, the way he subtly stepped away from the newcomer. "Patricia," he greeted with forced politeness. "How's business?" "Growing stronger every day, thanks for asking." Patricia cast an evaluating look at Lauren. "And you are?" "Someone who was leaving," Lauren replied with a sharp smile. She recognized female territorialism when she saw it and had no patience for games. But Justin surprised her by lightly touching her arm. "Actually, Dr. Torres and I were discussing art." "Patricia, excuse us." And without further explanation, he guided Lauren away from the woman, leaving her speechless. "Doctor?" Justin asked when they were at a safe distance. "Nutritionist?" Lauren replied, still processing the fact that he had defended her from a stranger. "And you? Let me guess. Doctor, lawyer, or architect. You have a very limited view of male professions." "Personal experience," she murmured. Justin stopped in front of a bronze sculpture, studying it with genuine interest. "I work with food, actually, but the kind you'd probably avoid prescribing to your patients." "Sugar? Alcohol?" Lauren observed him with renewed interest. There was something about him that challenged all her preconceptions. He wasn't the type of man who usually approached her at social events, too direct, without the flourishes she expected. "Wine?" she asked. "Among other things," Justin confirmed. "Do you drink?" "Occasionally, but only the good stuff." "Good," he smiled again, "because I'd like to invite you to taste something special." Lauren hesitated. Her schedule was packed, as always. She had consultations in the morning, a lecture in the afternoon, and a charity dinner at night. But something about Justin Wagner intrigued her in a way she couldn't explain. "When?" she asked before her rational mind could stop her. "Now?" "Now?" Lauren looked at the expensive watch on her wrist. "It's 3 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon." And I have responsibilities." "We all do," Justin said simply. "The question is, when was the last time you did something just because you wanted to?" The question hit her like a punch. Lauren couldn't remember. Every decision in her life was calculated, every move planned to build or maintain her professional and social reputation. "I don't do impulsive things," she admitted. "I know," he said, and there was something sad in his tone. "That's exactly why you should try." Before Lauren could respond, her phone rang. Dr. Peterson, her partner at the clinic. "Excuse me," she answered. "Peterson? Lauren, where are you? Mrs. Rodriguez cancelled and you can see the winery owner earlier. He insists on seeing you today." Lauren frowned. "What owner?" "Justin Wagner from Wagner Vineyards. Seems it's an urgent case related to sports nutrition for his daughter." The world stopped. Lauren looked at Justin, who was watching her with an unreadable expression. "I'll call you back." She hung up, feeling her heart race. "Seems fate has other plans for us," Justin said calmly. "You made an appointment with me?" "My daughter needs nutritional guidance for basketball. I researched the best professionals in the city. And it was just coincidence that we met here." Justin shrugged. "I like art. Don't you?" Lauren studied him, looking for signs of manipulation, but all she saw was sincerity. And maybe, just maybe, the same interest she felt growing within herself. "Fine," she said finally, "but it will be a professional consultation." "Of course," Justin agreed, but his eyes sparkled with something that definitely was professional. As they walked together toward the gallery exit, Lauren couldn't imagine that this simple painting of a girl with ponies would change her life forever, nor that the man beside her harbored secrets that could destroy everything she had built. But for now, for the first time in years, she was doing something just because she wanted to, and that was both liberating and absolutely terrifying. Wagner Vineyards wasn't what Lauren expected. Instead of a modern, impersonal building, she found herself before a property that looked more like a fairy tale. Vineyards stretched as far as the eye could see, interspersed with groves of oak trees and a main building that mixed colonial architecture with contemporary touches of good taste. "My God," she murmured, getting out of her car and adjusting the white blazer she had chosen to give a more professional air to the meeting. "Impressed?" Justin appeared on the main porch, wearing jeans and a linen shirt that made him look younger. "I admit I am." Lauren climbed the stone steps. "When you said you worked with wine, I imagined an office in downtown D.C., something like that." Justin laughed, and the sound echoed through the clean afternoon air. "My family always believed that wine is born in the soil, not in boardrooms." Before Lauren could respond, a tall, athletic young woman came running through the garden, followed by two ponies that seemed to have stepped directly out of the painting she had admired at the gallery. "Dad, Leonardo escaped again!" the girl shouted, not noticing Lauren's presence. "Isabella, we have company," Justin called patiently. The young woman stopped abruptly, and Lauren could clearly see where her natural beauty came from. Isabella Wagner had the same honey-colored eyes as her father, and an energy that radiated health. "Hi," she said awkwardly. "Sorry, I didn't know." "Isabella, this is Dr. Lauren Torres, the nutritionist I told you about." "Oh," the girl's face lit up. "You're the one who's going to help me with my diet for basketball." "If you want me to," Lauren smiled genuinely. There was something about Isabella that completely disarmed her. "I do. Dad, she's much younger than I imagined." "Isabella," Justin reprimanded, but Lauren laughed. "Don't worry. At 32, I still take that as a compliment." "Wow, you're the same age as my Aunt Rebecca," Isabella exclaimed, then blushed. "Sorry, I talk too much when I'm nervous." "Why would you be nervous?" Lauren asked, intrigued. "Because you're the first woman Dad has invited here since—" She stopped, looking at Justin with regret. An awkward silence settled. Lauren felt there was a story there, but it wasn't hers to ask about. At least not yet. "How about we see where you have your meals?" she suggested professionally. "I need to understand the family's eating routine." "Good idea," Justin agreed quickly. "Let's go to the kitchen." As they walked through the house, Lauren couldn't help but notice the details. Family photographs scattered on tables, a bookshelf full of well-used books, fresh flowers in simple vases. It was a house that breathed life, very different from her minimally decorated apartment in downtown D.C. "Does your family live here too?" she asked. "My parents, siblings, and grandfather live in the city, but they spend most of their time here. Isabella and my son Gabriel live with me." "Gabriel?" "My older brother," Isabella explained. "He's in college now, but works with Dad in the business." The house's kitchen was any chef's dream. Granite countertops, industrial stove, a central island with high stools. But what caught Lauren's attention most were the glass jars organized with handwritten labels: Grandma Sarah's cookies, Aunt Rebecca's grape jelly, Grandpa William's special seasoning. "Do you cook a lot at home?" she asked, already making mental notes. "My mother insists that processed food is poison," Justin replied. "Ironic, considering we produce processed foods." "It's not ironic," Lauren corrected. "It's smart. Knowing the origin of what we eat is fundamental." Isabella approached Lauren with curiosity. "Do you really think I can improve my basketball performance with nutrition?" "I'm certain of it," Lauren replied with conviction, "but I'll need to know more about your training routine, your food preferences, and—" "What if Dr. Torres stayed for dinner?" Justin interrupted. "That way she could observe our family dynamics." Lauren hesitated. Having dinner with patients wasn't something she usually did. But Justin was right. Observing the family in their natural routine would provide valuable information. "Please," Isabella pleaded. "My grandma is bringing her cornbread, and my uncle is opening a special wine." "Your whole family comes to dinner here?" "Every Wednesday," Justin explained. "It's been a tradition since my parents got married." Lauren looked at her watch. She still had the charity dinner, but for the first time in years, the idea of cancelling a social commitment for something more genuine appealed to her. "I shouldn't," she began. "But you will," Isabella celebrated, interpreting her hesitation as acceptance. "Isabella, let Dr. Torres decide," Justin gently reprimanded, but Lauren could see the hope in his eyes. She picked up her phone to cancel the charity dinner, but was interrupted by animated conversation coming from the garden. Through the window, she saw a younger man than Justin playing with the ponies, an elegant woman photographing butterflies, and an older couple walking hand in hand. "Your family?" she asked. "My brother Michael, my sister Rebecca, and my parents, Sarah and Robert," Justin confirmed. "And the gentleman trying to steal cookies on the sly is my grandfather William." Lauren observed the scene with something she couldn't identify. There was a naturalness, a genuine joy in those people that she rarely saw in her social circle. "Do they know you invited a nutritionist for dinner?" she asked. "They know I invited someone special," Justin replied, and the tone of his voice made Lauren's heart race. "I'm just a professional taking care of your daughter's diet." "Of course," he said, but his eyes said something else. Isabella rolled her eyes. "You adults are so complicated. Why don't you just admit you like each other?" "Isabella," Justin and Lauren said at the same time, making the young woman laugh. "Fine, I'll go help Grandma in the kitchen and let you two figure this out on your own." When they were alone, the air between them seemed charged with electricity. Lauren approached the window, pretending to observe Justin's family, but actually trying to control her own thoughts. "Justin, I need you to know that I don't mix personal and professional life. And I need you to know that I don't usually invite women to meet my family." She turned to face him. "Then why are you doing this?" Justin approached slowly, stopping just inches from her. "Because since I saw you at the gallery, I can't stop thinking that maybe it's time to take a chance again." "Take a chance on what?" "Being happy." The simplicity and honesty of the answer completely disarmed her. Lauren was used to games, to men who said what they thought she wanted to hear, but Justin was different. "I don't know if I'm good at making people happy," she admitted. "How about we find out together?" Before she could respond, the kitchen door opened, and a woman of about 60 entered carrying a tray of cookies that smelled like heaven. "Justin, dear, who is this beautiful young woman?" And so, without much protocol or preparation, Lauren found herself being introduced to the Wagner family. But what she didn't know was that among the vineyards and laughter at that dinner table, her controlled professional life was about to collide with secrets that not even Justin imagined she would discover. Dinner at the Wagner house was a revelation. Lauren, accustomed to social events where conversations revolved around status and appearances, found herself amid discussions about grape harvests, plans for Aunt Rebecca's butterfly garden, and Grandpa William's aquatic adventures. Doctor. Lauren, Sarah Wagner served another generous portion of mushroom risotto. You must try this. It's my Italian grandmother's recipe. Mom, Dr. Torres is a nutritionist, Justin warned. Maybe she doesn't want to eat carbs at night. Nonsense! William, the grandfather, pounded his fist on the table. Good food is medicine for the soul, and this young lady needs more color in her cheeks. Lauren laughed, a genuine laugh that surprised even herself. Your grandfather is right about good food being medicine, and the risotto is delicious. See, William addressed Justin with a mischievous smile. She's smart. Marry her before some other smart guy shows up. Grandpa, Isabella protested, but was laughing. Sorry about my father, Robert, Justin's father, apologized. He thinks everyone should get married. Because they should, William insisted. Life's too short to be alone. Lauren observed the family dynamics with fascination. There was genuine affection among them, a way of caring that was both relaxed and profound, very different from her own family, where conversations always seemed scripted. Doctor, Rebecca leaned forward. Justin told me you met at an art gallery. Do you paint? No, I just appreciate it, Lauren replied. My mother is a visual artist, so I grew up surrounded by art. How interesting. You must know her work. What's her name? Vera Torres. The silence that followed was almost palpable. Rebecca paled, Robert coughed uncomfortably, and Justin frowned. Did something happen? Lauren asked, confused. Vera Torres. Michael, the winemaker brother, murmured. Isn't she the one who... Michael, Justin interrupted with a warning tone, but Lauren was already alert. You know my mother? We know her work, Robert replied carefully. She's very talented. There was something strange in the air, but before Lauren could insist, Gabriel arrived from college. Tall like his father, with the same charming smile, he kissed his grandmother and greeted Lauren politely. Sorry I'm late. Had an extra food chemistry class. Gabriel is almost graduating with a degree in food engineering, Justin explained with paternal pride. He's going to work with us on the company's expansion. How interesting, Lauren said, still processing the family's strange reaction to her mother's name. Do you plan to diversify beyond wines? We already have, Gabriel replied. We have a line of premium juices, artisanal jellies, and even grape-based cosmetics. Impressive. Actually, Justin observed her carefully, maybe you could help us. We're developing a line of functional products, and your experience would be valuable. What kind of products? Natural supplements based on grape antioxidants, mainly for athletes. Lauren nodded, but her mind was working on two fronts: the professional opportunity and the mystery about her mother. After dinner, while the family gathered in the living room for coffee, Justin invited her to see the wine cellar. It's impressive, she said, observing the rows of French oak barrels. How many bottles do you produce per year? About 200,000. We export to 15 countries. And the competition? It must be fierce. Justin tensed. It's getting harder and harder, especially with international groups using questionable practices. What kind of practices? Price dumping, defamation campaigns, even sabotage, he replied, and there was contained anger in his voice. Sabotage? Last month, someone contaminated a batch we were exporting to France. We lost the contract and our reputation took a hit. Lauren observed him with concern. Do you have proof it was intentional? Nothing that can be used legally, Justin sighed. Patricia Romano, who you met at the gallery, works for the group that pressures us most. She's made it clear they'll do anything to push us out of the market. Why don't you go to the police? Because they're smart. Nothing can be traced directly back to them. Lauren approached Justin, noticing the tension lines on his face. It must be very difficult to deal with this. What worries me isn't myself. It's my children, my employees, the whole community that depends on the winery. Without thinking, Lauren touched his arm. You're not alone in this. Justin looked at her hand on his arm, then at her eyes. Thank you. It's been a while since someone genuinely cared. What do you mean? My ex-wife. She didn't understand the responsibility I carry. For her, it was just a business. You divorced because of the company? Among other things, Justin sighed. She wanted me to sell everything and move to New York. Said I had to choose between family and business. But you are the family, Lauren said, confused. Exactly. That's when I realized she never understood who I really am. They stood in silence for a moment, and Lauren found herself wanting to know more about this man who carried so much weight on his shoulders. Justin, about your family's reaction when I mentioned my mother. He tensed again. What about it? They know her, don't they? Justin hesitated, and Lauren knew there was a story there. Your mother did some illustrations for our advertising campaign a few years ago. It didn't work out. Why not? Creative differences, he replied, but Lauren could tell it was the complete truth. Before she could insist, Isabella appeared at the cellar entrance. Dad, Grandma wants to know if Dr. Lauren wants to take cookies home. Of course, Lauren smiled. They're delicious. As they walked back to the house, Justin took her hand so naturally that she didn't have time to protest. The touch was warm, firm, and sent waves of heat through her entire body. Lauren, I know this is complicated, mixing our personal situation with Isabella's work. It is, she agreed, but didn't let go of his hand. But I'd like to see you again. Outside the professional context. She stopped walking. Justin, I know you have reservations. I do too. But there's something between us that I can't ignore. Lauren looked at him, really looked. She saw an upright man, hard-working, who loved his family and fought to protect what he had built. She saw someone who made her laugh effortlessly and who made her feel things she had long forgotten. One date, she said finally. Just one. The smile that lit up Justin's face was like the sun rising. Just one. But as she said goodbye to the Wagner family and drove back home, Lauren couldn't stop thinking about the strange reaction to her mother's name, and something in her professional instinct warned her that there was more to this story than Justin was telling. What she didn't know was that her mother, Vera Torres, kept a secret about the Wagners that could destroy not only the relationship that was beginning, but the entire company Justin fought so hard to protect. The date happened the following Saturday, and Lauren spent the entire week nervous in a way she hadn't experienced since adolescence. Justin had suggested something simple, lunch at a restaurant overlooking the Potomac River, but she changed clothes 3 times before leaving home. You're different, commented Emma, her younger sister, watching her get ready. More, I don't know, less controlled. I don't know what you're talking about, Lauren replied, applying lip gloss for the 3rd time. I'm talking about the fact that you cancelled 3 appointments this week and are wearing a dress that doesn't scream unprofessional and untouchable. Lauren stopped in front of the mirror. Emma was right. The navy blue dress she had chosen was elegant but softer than her usual look, and she really had cancelled appointments, something unthinkable just a few weeks ago. It's just a professional lunch, she lied. Of course it is, Emma smiled. That's why you're glowing. When she arrived at the restaurant, Justin was already waiting. He wore a simple white shirt and jeans, but managed to look more elegant than most men in tuxedos who frequented her social circles. You look beautiful, he said, kissing her cheek delicately. Thank you, she replied, feeling her cheeks flush. The restaurant was charming without being excessive, with tables on the terrace that offered a stunning view of the river. Justin had clearly chosen a location away from the social spotlights of Washington, D.C. How was your week? He asked after they ordered. Busy as always. And yours? Complicated. Justin sighed. We had more problems with the competition. Lauren frowned. What kind of problems? Someone is spreading rumors about our products in the specialized press. Nothing we can legally counter, but enough to plant doubts. Are you sure it's the same person? I'm sure it's the same group. Patricia Romano is behind this. Certain. The name made Lauren remember the woman from the gallery. She seemed territorial when she saw us together. Patricia has goals beyond professional ones, Justin said dryly. She's made it clear she'd like to mix business with other things. And you? Never interested. Besides her questionable methods, I simply don't feel anything. Unlike now, Lauren surprised herself with her own boldness. Justin looked at her intensely. Unlike now, The waiter brought the wine, a Cabernet Sauvignon from Wagner Vineyards itself, and Justin served the glasses with the sommelier's care. "To new discoveries," he toasted. "To new discoveries," she repeated, and when the glasses touched, she felt as if she was sealing something important. The wine was exceptional. Lauren, who had tasted hundreds of labels at social events, was rarely impressed, but this had a complexity that surprised her. "This is incredible," she said. "You really know what you're doing." "Thank you. This is a special blend my brother Michael developed. It's not on the market yet." "Why not?" "Politics," Justin replied, and there was bitterness in his voice. "Our main distributor is under pressure not to promote our new products." "Is that legal?" "Technically, yes. They can choose which products to promote." Lauren nodded, but mentally took note of everything. Her business experience, developed over years of nutritional consulting for companies, made her see patterns that perhaps Justin, focused on production, didn't notice. "Justin, have you ever thought about diversifying distribution channels?" "What do you mean?" "Direct-to-consumer sales, partnerships with restaurants, even e-commerce. You wouldn't depend so much on one distributor." Justin observed her with renewed admiration. "You understand business." "I have my own company, remember? I know what it's like to fight against unfair competition." "Have you faced this before?" "When I opened my practice, the more established nutritionists in the city did everything to discredit me. They spread that I was too young, too inexperienced." "How did you overcome it?" "Results and persistence, plus some strategies they didn't expect." "What kind of strategies?" Lauren smiled mysteriously. "Let's say I know how to play the game when necessary." They were interrupted by a commotion at the next table. A middle-aged woman was arguing on the phone, clearly irritated. "I don't care what you think. I want that contract cancelled by Monday." Justin tensed. "That's the director of the regional wine cooperative. If she's cancelling contracts, could it affect you?" "Not directly, but it's concerning." Lauren observed the woman, noticing her determined expression and authoritative tone. There was something familiar about her, but she couldn't identify what. "Justin, do you know the regional wine market well?" "I know most producers, yes." "And do they all face the same problems you do?" "The smaller ones, yes. Large international groups are buying small properties for ridiculous prices." "What if you united, created a cooperative to compete?" Justin stopped with his glass halfway to his mouth. "That's not a bad idea." "It's a great idea," Lauren said with conviction. "You have quality products, family tradition, local knowledge. What's missing is unified market strategy. You really understand this." "More than you imagine." They spent the rest of lunch discussing possibilities, and Lauren found herself genuinely excited about the challenges Justin faced. It was stimulating to use her mind for something beyond meal plans and nutrition lectures. "Want to see the entire property?" Justin asked when they finished eating. "I can show you the production facilities." "I'd love to." The tour of the winery was revealing. Lauren saw a well-structured business with modern technology but respecting traditional methods. The employees clearly respected Justin, and there was genuine pride in the work they did. "How many families depend on the winery?" she asked. "Directly, about 40 employees. Indirectly, suppliers, transporters, maybe 200 families." "It's not just about you, then?" "It never was," Justin replied seriously. "It's about the entire community." They stopped at the laboratory where Michael, the winemaker brother, worked on new formulas. Through the glass, Lauren could see him concentrated over microscopes and chemical analysis equipment. "He's brilliant," Justin said with pride. "Graduated in France but chose to come back to work here. Why?" "Family, tradition, the same reasons that keep me here." Lauren studied him. "Have you ever thought about leaving? Selling everything and starting over somewhere else?" "Every day," he admitted, "especially when things get difficult. But I always reach the same conclusion, which is, running away from problems doesn't solve them. And I'm not the kind of man who abandons what he loves." The way he said it made Lauren's heart race. There was a determination in Justin that attracted her deeply. "And you?" he asked. "Have you ever thought about changing your life?" "Always," she replied honestly. but I never knew what to change it to. Maybe you just haven't found the right reason. They arrived at Rebecca's butterfly garden, a glass structure where hundreds of colorful butterflies flew freely among tropical plants. It's magical, Lauren sighed. Rebecca says the butterflies inspire her to paint. Each of her paintings is born here. She's very talented. I saw some of her works at the house. She is. In fact, she painted that piece you were admiring at the gallery. Lauren stopped. The girl with the ponies. Isabella when she was little. Rebecca portrayed a day when she was playing with Leonardo and Michelangelo. Why didn't you tell me this before? Justin smiled sheepishly. Because I wanted you to like the piece for the piece itself, not because there was a personal connection. And was there a personal connection? From the first moment I saw you looking at that painting, I knew I wanted to get to know you better. They were standing in the middle of the butterfly garden, surrounded by natural beauty and the soft sound of wings. Justin approached slowly, giving her time to step away if she wanted, but she didn't want to. The kiss was soft at first, hesitant, as if both were testing unknown waters. Then it deepened, and Lauren felt as if she were discovering something she didn't even know she was looking for. When they separated, both were breathing with difficulty. I shouldn't have done that, she whispered. Why not? Because this complicates everything. Or simplifies it, Justin said, caressing her face. Lauren, I don't know what's happening between us, but I know I don't want it to stop. Before she could respond, Justin's phone rang. He looked at the screen and frowned. It's my father. He never calls on weekends unless it's urgent. Answer it, she said, trying to compose herself. Dad, what when? I'm heading there now. Justin hung up with a worried expression. What happened? Someone broke into our administrative headquarters. They took computers and important documents. My God, are you going to call the police? Of course, but Justin ran his hand through his hair. Lauren, there were documents about you and your family in those files. What do you mean? Due diligence we do with anyone we're going to hire. It's security protocol. Lauren's blood ran cold. What kind of information? Professional information, family history, associations. Justin stopped, seeing her expression. What's wrong? Justin, there are things about my family that you need to know. Things that could affect your business. What kind of things? Before she could answer, a butterfly landed on her shoulder. A black butterfly with red spots, the kind Rebecca said announced dramatic changes. My mother, Lauren said finally. She wasn't hired by you to do illustrations. She was hired to spy on your company. The silence that followed was deafening. Justin looked at her as if she were a stranger. What do you mean? Patricia Romano. She hired my mother 2 years ago to infiltrate your company and collect information about processes, suppliers, clients. And you knew this? Not at the time. I only found out this week when I asked my mother about your family's reaction. Justin stepped away from her as if he had been punched. Your mother spied on my company, and now you appear in my life. Meet my family, my business. Justin, it's not what you're thinking, isn't it? Then explain to me how a renowned nutritionist appears out of nowhere at a gallery I frequent, becomes interested in the same piece that has a connection to my family, and now I discover that her mother works for my main competitor? The accusation hit her like a slap. You think I'm a spy? I don't know what to think. Think about what happened between us. Think about what you felt. Feelings can be faked, Lauren. Business is business. The butterfly flew from her shoulder, and with it all the magic of the moment was undone. Lauren turned and began walking toward the exit. Where are you going? Justin shouted behind her. Away, before you accuse me of anything else. Lauren, wait. But she didn't stop, and as she drove back home with tears streaming down her face, she couldn't stop thinking that maybe Justin was right. Maybe this whole story was too much of a coincidence to be true. What she didn't know was that at that exact moment, Patricia Romano was reading the documents stolen from Wagner Vineyards and discovering that Lauren Torres was much more than a simple piece in her game. She was the key to destroying not only Justin's business, but his entire family. Lauren spent all of Sunday locked at home, ignoring Justin's calls and trying to understand how her life had become so complicated in just 2 weeks. Emma tried to convince her to talk, but she wasn't ready to explain how she had fallen in love with a man who now considered her a corporate spy. Monday morning, she was in her office trying to focus on patients when her secretary, Amanda, entered with a worried expression. "Dr. Torres, there's a story in the newspaper that I think you should see." The headline made her stomach drop. "Renowned nutritionist, suspicious connections with industrial espionage scandal." The article was a direct attack on her professional reputation, insinuating that she used her consultations to collect privileged information about food industry companies. There were no direct accusations, too smart to avoid lawsuits, but enough to plant doubts. "Who wrote the article?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Patricia Romano, special correspondent for economic affairs." Lauren closed her eyes. It was exactly what Justin had described: calculated attacks to destroy reputations without leaving legal evidence. Her phone rang all day. Patients cancelling appointments, companies suspending lecture contracts, colleagues wanting to know her version of the facts. In 24 hours, years of work building her reputation were crumbling. At 5 in the afternoon, when she was about to cancel the rest of her schedule and go home, Amanda announced an unexpected visitor. "Rebecca Wagner is here. Says she needs to talk to you urgently." Lauren hesitated. Facing Justin's family was the last thing she wanted to do at that moment, but curiosity won. Rebecca entered the office with the same natural elegance she had shown at dinner, but there was determination in her eyes. "Dr. Torres, thank you for seeing me." "Rebecca, if you came to defend your brother—" "I came to defend you," she interrupted, sitting in the chair across from the desk. "And I came to tell you the truth about your mother." Lauren prepared for the worst. "What truth?" "Vera Torres wasn't hired by Patricia Romano to spy on our company." "What do you mean?" "Your mother was hired by us to pretend she was spying for Patricia." The world stopped. "What?" "2 years ago, when the attacks on our company began, we hired a private investigator. He discovered that Patricia was recruiting people to infiltrate our operations, so we decided to turn the tables." Lauren leaned back in her chair, trying to process the information. "Your mother was perfect," Rebecca continued. "Respected artist, no obvious connections to us, and needing money for an important exhibition. She agreed to be our double agent." "My mother is a spy?" Rebecca laughed. "Your mother is a brave artist who helped us protect our company and our family. But why didn't she tell me?" "Because the fewer people who knew, the better, and because we didn't expect you to appear in Justin's life." Lauren stood up and began pacing around the office. "So Justin knew when he accused me on Saturday?" "Justin didn't know," Rebecca said gently. "Only Dad, Mum, and I knew. We thought it was better to keep it that way to protect everyone involved." "So he really thought that I—" "Justin is devastated, Lauren. He spent the entire weekend trying to understand how he could have doubted you. And now? Patricia published that article. My career is ruined." "That's why I'm here." Rebecca leaned forward. "We have evidence of everything Patricia has done in the last 2 years. Recordings, documents, proof of sabotage. Your mother collected all of this for us. You can stop her. We can destroy her professionally, but we need your help." "My help?" "Patricia stole our files because she was looking for information about you. She discovered the connection with your mother and thinks she can use it in her favor." "How?" "She's going to try to blackmail you to get real information about our company, information that your mother never had access to." Lauren stopped walking. "You want me to pretend to collaborate with her?" "We want you to be our secret weapon." Before Lauren could respond, Amanda knocked on the door. "Doctor, sorry to interrupt, but there's a woman here who says she has important information about the newspaper article." Rebecca and Lauren exchanged glances. "Patricia Romano?" Lauren asked. "That's her." "Perfect," Rebecca murmured. "She took the bait faster than we expected." What bait? The newspaper article wasn't just an attack, Lauren. It was a provocation. We wanted her to come to you. Lauren took a deep breath. Okay, but I do this alone. That's not a good idea. It's the only way it will work. If she suspects you're involved, everything goes down the drain. Rebecca nodded reluctantly. Be careful. Patricia is more dangerous than she seems. Send her in, Amanda, Lauren said over the intercom. Patricia Romano entered the office as if she owned the place. She wore an expensive suit and smiled with the confidence of someone who had just won an important battle. Dr. Torres, I imagine you saw my article. I did, and I imagine you didn't come here to apologize. I came to propose a deal. Lauren crossed her arms. What kind of deal? You provide me with information about Wagner Vineyard's internal operations, and I publish a complete retraction, clearing your reputation. And if I refuse, I have enough material to completely destroy your career, including some interesting information about your mother's participation in questionable activities. The threat was said with a sweet smile, but Lauren felt the poison behind the words. What kind of information do you want? Production processes, client lists, marketing strategies, expansion plans, everything you can discover as their nutritional consultant. And how much time would I have? 1 week. Enough time for Justin Wagner to trust you again and give you access to everything I need. Lauren pretended to consider the proposal. How do I know you'll keep your part? Because destroying you doesn't profit me if you're useful alive. The coldness with which Patricia said this made Lauren realize she was dealing with someone truly dangerous. All right, she said finally, but I want the retraction in writing before I start collecting information. Smart, Patricia smiled. I have the text here. She took a sheet from her purse and placed it on the desk. It was a complete retraction, admitting inaccurate information and praising Lauren's unshakable professional integrity. 1 week, Patricia repeated, standing up. And doctor, don't try to deceive me. I have people watching every move of the Wagner family. When Patricia left, Lauren collapsed in her chair. In 5 minutes, she had committed to a dangerous game that could either save or destroy everything that mattered to her. Her phone rang. It was Justin. Lauren, please don't hang up. I need to talk to you. Justin, Rebecca told me everything. About your mother, about the plan, about what a complete idiot I was. You didn't know. That doesn't excuse how I treated you. Lauren, can you forgive me? She looked out the office window, seeing the city prepare for nightfall. Somewhere out there, Patricia Romano was planning the destruction of the Wagner family. And now, for the first time since everything began, Lauren had the power to stop it. Justin, do you trust me? Completely. Then I need you to do exactly what I'm going to ask, without questioning. What do you have in mind? Lauren smiled for the first time in 2 days. If Patricia wanted to play dirty, she would discover she had found a worthy adversary. I'm going to need you to invite me to a very public romantic dinner and act like you're madly in love. That won't be difficult, Justin said, and she could hear the smile in his voice. Because it's not a lie. The plan was in motion. But while Lauren prepared to face Patricia Romano at her own game, she didn't know that the woman had one last trump card up her sleeve. Information about Justin's past that not even he knew. Information that could destroy not only his business, but his entire family. And Lauren was about to discover that in power games, sometimes even the winners lose everything that matters most. Epilogue. 6 months later, Lauren stood in the same gallery where it all began, observing the same painting that had changed her life. But this time, she wasn't alone. Do you still think it's not worth the price? Justin asked, wrapping his arms around her waist. Now I know that some things are priceless, she replied, leaning against his chest. The battle against Patricia Romano had ended 3 months ago, when the evidence collected by Vera Torres and the information Lauren managed to obtain resulted in a federal investigation for organized crime. Patricia and her entire group were in prison, awaiting trial. Wagner Vineyards had not only survived the attacks but prospered. The producers' cooperative that Lauren had suggested became one of the most successful in the region, and the Wagner family wines were being exported to new markets. "How's the plan to expand the functional products line going?" she asked. "Our new partner consultant is very demanding about quality standards," Justin laughed, "but the first tests are promising." Lauren had officially become the company's nutritional consultant while maintaining her private practice. Patricia's retraction had restored her reputation, and the exposure of the espionage scheme had made her even more professionally respected. Did Isabella like the new meal plan? She's loving it, and the results in basketball speak for themselves. She was selected for the state team. And Gabriel, how's he adapting to the new responsibilities? Better than I expected. Being 22 and already directing an entire company division is a lot of pressure, but he's doing well. They walked through the gallery, observing the works in comfortable silence. Life had become simpler and more complicated at the same time. Simpler because they had finally found in each other something they didn't even know they were looking for. Complicated because mixing love, family, and business was never easy. "Justin, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you regret doubting me that day?" Justin stopped walking and turned to face her. "Every day, but I'm also grateful it happened." "Why?" "Because it made me realize how much you mean to me, and because it gave us the chance to build our relationship on complete honesty." It was true. After everything they had been through, there were no secrets between them. Justin knew her fears about relationships, her professional insecurities, her need for control. She knew his concerns as a father, his family responsibilities, his determination to protect those he loved. "Speaking of honesty," Justin said, taking a small box from his pocket. Lauren's heart stopped. "Justin, I know it's early, I know we're still figuring out how to work together. But I also know I want to figure this out for the rest of my life." He knelt right there, in the middle of the gallery, in front of the painting of little Isabella playing with the ponies. "Lauren Torres, will you marry me?" Tears ran down her face. 6 months ago, if someone had told her she would be falling in love with a winemaker from Virginia and considering changing her entire life, she would have laughed. Now, looking at the man kneeling before her, the man who had defended her when even he didn't understand what was happening, who had fought to regain her trust, who loved her not despite her complexities, but because of them, there was only one possible answer. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes?" he repeated as if he couldn't believe it. "Yes, I want to marry you. I want to be part of your crazy, loud family. I want to argue with you about business and make up in the wine cellar. I want to watch Isabella play basketball and see Gabriel become the brilliant businessman he's already becoming." Justin stood up and kissed her right there, in front of everyone in the gallery. It was a kiss that spoke of promises and futures, of vineyards and offices, of love that grew on unlikely ground. When they separated, both were laughing and crying at the same time. "The family is going to be crazy with happiness," Justin said. "Especially Grandpa William. He was already planning our wedding before our first date." They left the gallery hand in hand, heading to the winery where they knew the Wagner family was waiting for them for the traditional Wednesday dinner. But this time, there would be a special celebration. And as they drove through the Virginia roads, with the vineyards golden in the afternoon sun on both sides, Lauren realized she had finally found her answer to the question Justin had asked months ago. "When was the last time you did something just because you wanted to?" The answer was now, and forever. Now.